Hi guys, Luke Kane here, MTP Health founder. Just wanted to shoot a quick video for you guys to talk about one of the most common questions we get asked at MTP and in our programs is why does it take so long? Why are we needing to come so regularly to create change? And it's a fantastic question. Everybody's journey is a little bit different. Everybody's process that they go through is a little bit different. And everybody wants a result fast. Which is completely understandable. Most people, when they find their way to exercise physiologists, they've already been through a process of disappointment. They've already been through manual therapy. They've probably tried massage. They've probably tried to rest, stop doing things they enjoy doing. They've seen physios, seen osteos, seen chiros, seen doctors, seen sports doctors, seen orthopedic surgeons sometimes. And they've been through this whole process, and then they've finally got to the stage where they're like, maybe you should try exercise physiology, which is, it is what it is. Hopefully we can improve that and get people a little bit earlier. But that's a very normal process of kind of disappointment and bouncing from person to person to practitioner to practitioner, everybody having a different say about what's going to be best for that person and through a different lens. And then they sort of get to us, and maybe this time's taken a month, sometimes it's taken years, sometimes it's taken 10 years for them to get to that point of turning up at our door. And so everybody's timeline for change will be different, and it'll be highly dependent on the goals that you're focused on, highly dependent on what you would like to achieve, what is a North Star for you in terms of outcomes. If your outcome is to, climb Everest, then it's going to be a longer build to get to that level of tolerance and that level of performance that you need. If your outcome is to get up the stairs at home without fear of ruining your day or without fear of falling on the way down, then that isn't quite as big an ask. Now, it's all relative. Your starting point's going to be a bit lower, but if you start from the same point and that's where you want to get to, or there's where you want to get to, it's going to be a different timeline. But generally speaking, in order to make lasting change, you need consistent applied effort. Consistent applied focus, and you need adjustments along the way. I mean, in any activity you do, whether it's work, school work, sport activities, hobbies, if you don't consistently practice perfectly, or not even perfectly, consistently practice at a challenging level, at upping the demands to challenge yourself, then you never will continue to get better. You'll kind of improve a little bit at the start and then kind of flatten out. And that good enough approach happens a lot in every other aspect of life, but it's a really tough pill to swallow in activity and when pain is involved and function is involved, because sometimes just enough isn't good enough. We need to push that a little bit further, and knowing how hard to push without making things worse for yourself, symptom-wise, pain-wise, is tough. Is really tough. And if you don't have the inside knowledge on what you can and can't tolerate, what is good and not so good sensations, or whether or not you're doing more harm or not with what you're doing, that anxiety and that uncertainty creates a lot of barriers to progress. And so in order to navigate those barriers, in order to navigate those hesitancies and those episodes of discomfort that are inevitable along the way, it's really important that you stick to something for a longer period of time to make lasting change. If it's taken you 10 years to get to this point, and 10 years ago you were running marathons and now you can't really get up the stairs, you've gone through a very significant decline in function. And that will happen, systematically or kind of periodically over time, where you avoid this, you avoid that. And so by going through that decline, you lose your ability to do the things you used to be able to do, and you create new ways of doing those things. And so to unravel that, to reverse that process and build you back up on the right trajectory so that you recapture your function, you recapture your independence, you recapture your performance or your sort of positive motion towards your goals, it takes time. Now, the model that we use is trying to fast track that process as much as we possibly can. And to do that, we need to be dynamic in how we adjust things. If we leave you for 6 months to just do your exercises, then you develop your own new habits along the way. Things always feel maybe just tough enough, but not so tough that you're going to risk causing any discomfort. So you kind of hold back a little bit, in whether you mean to or not. And so our job is to guide you through those bumps and those speed blocks to make sure you keep pushing forward at the appropriate rate. So the programs are a minimum of 12 weeks. We want 12 weeks of commitment to kind of ride out in 4-week blocks. And the reason it runs for that time is that with your function, if this is a function of like this axis we've got here, we have sort of your pain or your discomfort level, and then down here is time. What you'll tend to find is that you start off quite high up of discomfort. In the initial stages, you'll have this really rapid drop down in terms of your adaptation to what you're doing. You're learning new ways to load, you're learning new ways to do things, and you feel better and more confident about it. So you get this dip here. And this is a really positive, let's call this like your first 4 weeks. So 4 weeks here, 8 weeks here, 12 weeks here, and then you can even carry on over 16, 24 or something. But then what happens when you start to get confidence that you can push a little bit more, you start to do more. You start to challenge yourself more. And in that challenge, you get this rebounding effect up. You know, maybe not to the same pain levels. Sometimes it comes right up over, but your function is being challenged. You're pushing harder and you're doing more. So it can kind of spike, but then it'll tend to then come back down again. And you get this dipping down. Once you adapt, and you're adapting, and you're like, okay, I'm pushing hard, and now you keep on pushing hard again, and you get this upswing again. And then it comes back down again. And it dips back down, and then you go up, it comes back up. And then see how you get this over time though, you get this consistent downward trajectory. And the importance of guidance and modification and assistance, like really supervision and assistance in this process, is that it's fine down here. Everybody feels good here. Everybody is winning. You feel great. You're confident in the program. Everything's moving the way it should be at these points. But in these sections here, where you're on the upswings, these peaks are massive concerns for you if you don't understand what's happening. You're like, I was doing so well, and now it's really sore again. I don't know what, I didn't do anything, obviously, but we did more of those exercises. It must be that exercise. And so we kind of look for something to blame for these upswings. But these upswings are all part of the process. They're sometimes a good thing because you're challenging yourself more than you were before. So even though here, like if we put a line across there, your pain, your initial pain, none of these are really worse than your initial pain. They're all a little bit better, but because they're worse than you felt a couple of weeks ago, they're a concern. And we get, without the commitment to a 12-week process and beyond, without a commitment to a longer-term approach, what we tend to have is people abort mission at these points. You'll get here, you're feeling good, not feeling so good. Oh, I don't really like what's happening here, I'm out. I'm gonna go and try something else. And when you go and try something else, you start that process all over again. And so people will tend to have these 4 weeks doing good, no, out. 4 weeks doing good, out. And maybe it's 6, maybe it's 8, depending on how much the practitioner or the place that you're working at is challenging you. But what's really, really important is to ride those out, to have guidance through those, and just make slight modifications and tweaks rather than severing off the ties completely and giving up. So our programs are designed to be a minimum of 12 weeks so that we can really work through that process of ups and downs and consistently move your function in the right direction so that you can achieve your goals. We can't do that in 4 weeks. I mean, once you've done your 12 weeks commitment, then we can kind of go in 4-week segments based on how you're feeling and what you want to do with your time and your confidence level and what you've achieved. But that first 12 weeks, we really need that commitment to make a change that sticks and that helps you ride through those bumps along the way. And so that's why we ask for a 12-week program. It's not because we want to see you super regularly to make the most of you coming in here in terms of value of money or time. It's that we want to get the outcome. What we want most in this business is good results beyond anything else. And good results for you as a patient requires that commitment time. Without that commitment time, we get too many people leaving early because of that uncertainty of whether they're doing the right thing. But when people stick it out and they ride through those little bumps, the changes are, they continue to amaze me. The things that people are able to achieve when they commit to that longer approach to improvement in movement, in strength, in control, in function, in mobility. And we can, as exercise physiologists, that is what our specialty is, and that is how we help you best achieve your goals.